Hello, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. The goal for this time is to explain what sustainability means here at UW-Madison, how the Office of Sustainability is working to make it key to the future of this great institution, and ways for you to get involved in that effort. Now, before I talk about the future, I think it would be foolish to ignore the past and its impact on the present. At this moment, I am on ancestral Ho-Chunk land, a place that our nation has called Dejop since time immemorial. And the history of how this land was forcibly taken and ultimately used for the development of UW-Madison is too easily obscured. Whether we realize it or not, colonization's roots run deep, which is why the work of groups like Native Nations at UW and listening, learning, and collaborating with the First Nations of Wisconsin will be a necessary start to building any truly sustainable future. Now, what could a sustainable future look like? Well, sustainability at UW-Madison unites equity, efficiency, education, and research in service of environmental health for all. This definition was developed by the work of our Sustainability Advisory Council, a cross-functional leadership team that also included shared governance seats and a strong student participation. The Advisory Council reports to the Provost and Vice Chancellor for Finance and Administration and was tasked with developing a strategy for how UW-Madison can advance sustainability. So, foundational to that idea is to define sustainability, which is not a simple task, and the words the council landed on here are intended to do a lot of work. Equity is just a piece of the work needed to make UW-Madison a place that is truly for all people. Efficiency can be thought of in terms of physical resources, time, or even funding. And environmental health is meant to encompass the health of the earth we rely on, as well as our collective public health. To be serious about striving for sustainability will require significant effort and a reframing of what leadership looks like. So the Advisory Council developed a new framework for how to achieve sustainability leadership that requires integrating our culture, which is our collective behavioral and procedural norms, our purpose, which is research and education, and our practice, or how we live on this piece of the world. And only complementary advancements in each of these areas will allow us to truly be a leader in building a sustainable community. Now, when we talk about our culture, that will require that we make sustainability principles part of our day-to-day interactions, operations, and perhaps most importantly, decision-making processes. For our purpose, leadership would manifest as elevating sustainability as a discipline, supporting collaborative and interdisciplinary research, and expanding learning opportunities within and beyond the classroom. And for our practice, it will require that we walk the talk with policies, procedures, and systems that formalize the sustainable relationship with our space, our facilities, and the larger ecosystems we inhabit. This framework and the priorities defined for our culture, purpose, and practice are aligned to transform us from where we are currently, which is a silver-rated sustainable university, to a platinum-rated institution, ideally well before 2030. And this is no small feat, as there are only a handful of platinum universities in the world. These ratings come from STARS, or the Sustainability Tracking Assessment and Rating System, which is a widely adopted mechanism for institutes of higher education to track and compare progress of sustainability efforts. We've completed 2 assessments looking at fiscal year 2018 and most recently 2021, and in both the university rated silver. And while we have shown progress across the 4 main categories in STARS over those years, there is still plenty of room to improve. This framework also supports continuing efforts to meet commitments from our master plan, which includes a goal to achieve zero waste, from our chancellor, which includes charting a path to carbon neutrality, and building resilience within our community, as well as executing on key programs such as the Green Fund, which supports student-led projects that advance campus sustainability. And while there's a long way to go, we have a lot to be proud of, from getting recognized by the Department of Education as a Green Ribbon School, to achieving a fair trade designation, to being one of the few campuses who are platinum certified by bicycle-friendly universities. Again, this is not to minimize how much more we can be doing, and there are many ways to support all these efforts. So today was really just meant to get you informed of the vision, spark ideas for how this would apply to your role. So we want to leave you with an understanding of how you can get involved. Now, before I do that, I want to acknowledge that we are still in a pandemic. Global conflicts feel ever present, and all of this is happening under the increasingly near-term threat of a changing climate. Not to mention the busy lives we all lead, meeting the needs of our jobs, our friends, our families, and importantly, ourselves. There's a lot in this picture, and the point here is just to show the number and economic magnitude of climate-related events. And the Madison area is not safe from these impacts, if you remember the severe flooding just a few years ago. It's also important to remember that these are not just costly environmental events, but they impact people's lives, particularly the most vulnerable, and often just exacerbate the already present inequities. So it's kind of the required bummer section of a sustainability presentation, but just like we don't have enough time or energy to individually solve the world's problems, you can't as an individual make UW-Madison sustainable. But if this goal and vision is something that feels important to you, and of course, I hope it does, we want you to know that there are a variety of ways to get involved, whether that is simply actively staying up to date through the communication resources our office provides, or collaborating with us through some of our existing programs, or engaging directly with your teams, colleagues, or other affiliated organizations to embed sustainability into your work lives. We will take any and all. Thank you so much for your time. And below this video, we will add links to more details on these opportunities.